Judgment Day now hold all the gold. This guy predicted it on Wrestle League. I was saying it in the office and everyone was like, it's a predictable show for a reason, Ollie. The tag titles aren't going to change hands.
I predicted Judgment Day.
Oh, okay.
And on the prediction show, Luke was like, well, this is a foregone conclusion. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are retaining.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think it's that foregone conclusion, Luke. These guys, the smart ones, are on this show. This is great.
What did Judgment Day do? They don't really have a secret handshake.
No, they're just like, hey, lads.
Lads.
That's pretty much
and Rhea Ripley.
She's a lad.
Chief lad. And the briefcase.
Yes.
The inanimate lad.
The briefcase.
Our true leader of Judgment Day.
We can actually do it this way this time.
Yep, all of Judgment Day now hold championship gold. Dominic Mysterio is the NXT North American champion. Finn Balor and Damian Priest are now the WWE Undisputed Tag Team champions. And Rhea Ripley is the women's champion, along with the Money in the Bank briefcase in there. Holy hell. This is our review of Payback. Emphasis on the back, am I right?
It's good.
With that main event and Nakamura working over Seth's back. And
Raquel was on this show.
The Battle of the Backs with Rhea and Raquel.
Yeah.
I'm Oli Davis. I'm joined by, what do you want to be today?
Oh,
Pete back.
Pete back?
Pay Pete.
Pay Pete. Yes, Pay Pete.
I think Pete back's better.
Book me on Cameo. Pay Pete. Thank you.
Pay Pete Quinnell over there. Please, if you haven't already, press the thumbs up button. Give us a subscribe. Leave a comment down below with what you thought of this premium live event. And send in your UltraChats to WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out every single one of them over $5. Just quick overall thoughts. I thought this was a fun show. I went in with very low expectations because I watched SmackDown. I reviewed that with Tempest yesterday, and it was such a mid-card show that did nothing to build the pay-per-view.
Well, there was only one SmackDown match on the show, so what are they going to do?
Yeah,
they're going to build matches that aren't there?
And then also, I went into SummerSlam with quite high expectations.
Yeah.
There were fun bits, but it was mostly underwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
This was the opposite. Yeah. Low expectations because it's like the most B pay-per-view WWE have done since...
It's quite a while.
What was the pay-per-view? The last pay-per-view that Vince was in charge of. So SummerSlam 2022 was
What would have been before that? Money in the Bank, where Austin Theory won?
Yeah, probably that.
Yeah.
It's the most underwhelming card B pay-per-view since then. So over a year. And I went in with low expectations. I had a wicked time.
Yeah. I thought this was really good. I didn't think it was amazing. I didn't expect it to be amazing. And it was all right.
Solid.
Yeah. A solid show.
This is the definition of a 3.5 out of 5.
I agree.
Show.
Yeah.
And I had a good time doing it.
Yep.
It's like Dungeons and Dragons. Love that movie. It's 3 stars.
Okay, you need to clarify the movie, because if you just say Dungeons and Dragons as a whole, I was going to come at you quite hard there. Just like, what do you mean D&D is a 3 out of 5 hobby? Because
Yeah, it's a 2 out of 5 hobby. But the movie is better. and most people who are true fans of that IP will agree.
Yeah. It's fine.
But yeah, it's a fun thing, but it is only 3 stars. This is that. There's nothing wrong with a totally average show.
Yeah.
And this was a bang average show.
I think this met my expectations for this show. I don't think this was above what I expected. This was like bang on. I expected all right, and I got all right.
Well, the most all right part, the bit that sort of tips that segment into a 4, maybe a 4.5 out of 5, is the Judgment Day stuff, led by match of the night for me. A lot of people will say the opening cage match between Lynch and Trish. Thought that was very good too, but I loved the tag team championship match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defending against Priest and Balor.
I thought this match, being a street fight...
A Steel City
street fight, which is very different from like a Chicago street fight, all the other types of street fight that there are. This one's very different because they did a hockey reference about Pittsburgh, and that's what makes it a Steel City street fight. Anywho,
they had Britt Baker's towel as well under the ring.
I don't think it's Britt Baker's.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I think it's Pittsburgh's. I think
that yellow towel began with Britt Baker.
She created
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'd never seen it before. That episode of Dynamite, she waved it on.
That is how it works. I really enjoyed a lot of the action on this one. They had a lot of like, it wasn't necessarily like brutal hardcore spots. It wasn't a lot of like pain and kind of like the crazy like hardcore spots like you see in like a Mox match or something like that. But there's some really fun hardcore spots. They had a lot of trash cans. They put the trash can over Finn Balor and wailed on it with kendo sticks and stuff like that. They had the Terry Funk tribute tank top that KO was wearing. Really, really cool. KO broke up a pin by throwing a chair. Love that. He was just lying down, just grabbed a chair, and just threw it across. It was really cool.
I also like when Sammy was running into the corner to do the haluva kick on Balor, and Priest just jumped up on the apron, trash can, lobbed it at Zayn.
Yeah, just really fun stuff like that. They had Dominic Mysterio got involved because it's a street fight, no DQ, so essentially it was a handicap match for most of this. And then KO decided, you know what, I'm just going to take you out for the rest of the match. He didn't, but he tried. He did this huge dive off like where the crowd is, like on one of like the entrances. Huge dive off the side, through a table on Dom. Also, it looked like a really rough landing. I don't think he got much of Dom. Mostly floor.
He got mostly concrete to the ass,
which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really fun spots. Really enjoyed it. KO got busted open at some point. Not sure when that happened.
Yeah, but so there was this really cool bit where I think it's the first time Dom gets involved. They're brawling into the crowd, and Priest and Balor are like getting worked over. And Dominic appears. He takes out Zayn and KO, and they disappear for a bit. And the camera just holds on the Judgment Day members. They're yucking it up. They're putting their arms around each other. And I thought, Zayn and Owens are going to be standing right behind them. The way the camera is just like on purposely not showing the background. Then the camera moves round as the heels look behind them. And behind like a table, Owens and Zayn have done a costume change. They're wearing some form of Pittsburgh ice hockey jersey. The crowd go wild for it. And Owens is covered in blood.
I don't know when that happened.
Did he blade on the jersey?
I don't know.
Maybe it was new and there was a tag in there?
Because I thought that what happened was he got hit over the head with a trash can before, and I saw him go into the corner. I was like, oh, like has he got a cut or anything? And no, he was fine. I was like, oh, okay, great. I thought he'd been busted open or something then. And then like a minute later, he comes up and he's covered in it. And I was like, well, was that the spot? Was it just delayed? Like I don't know. But yeah, when he came up from there, just absolutely covered in it.
Looked great.
It's a cool visual.
So what was because they weren't just generic jerseys.
No,
they weren't like Owens and Zayn.
They had significance. I think if you want to hear it, go watch the edited review, because I got Tempest to send me a voice note explaining it, and it's a minute and a half. So go watch that. It's on there. I had a great time listening to it. But afterwards, though, after there was that big dive off the side, it looks like KO and Sammy are going to get the match won. They hit a stunner and a haluva kick, but JD McDonough comes out to stop the pin. Which is really good, because I thought that was the finish of the match. I was like, oh, they're just going to end it. All right, fair enough.
It's been a fun match so far.
It's been a fun match. There you go. And then, JD McDonough comes out, stops the pin, which is another, like, trying to weasel his way into the Judgment Day a little bit more, which is very good. And then out of nowhere, Rhea Ripley comes out and just speared Owens through the barricade. I was like, yes, this is great. This is so much fun.
So that by that point, that's 3 different people interfering on this match.
It's a 5-on-2.
I do not mind.
No, this was great.
Yeah, it was all so chaotic and fun.
Yeah. I then wrote, oh, Balor's going to win. Like, because I just thought, oh, they've taken Owens out.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, then I was also hopeful of that. I was like, yeah, actually, because I predicted the Judgment Day one. I think that would be the more fun story. And then they're in the ring and Balor goes for the stomp and he misses. And as soon as he misses, I'm like, no! Zayn's going to win. So Zayn does his thing, hits the haluva kick. Balor falls down. 1, 2. Oh my God, Dominic broke it up! And then Dom broke up the pin with the true leader of Judgment Day, the briefcase. The briefcase masterminding from the front, leading from the front. And Dom just puts Finn's arm on Sammy. 1, 2, 3. New tag team champions. Judgment Day.
So good. So good. I love the fact that the briefcase is the thing that wins them the tag belts. The thing that's caused so much dissension between Balor and Priest is the thing that now makes them the tag champs. It's really, really smart. Really well-worked match. Great finish. JD McDonough has, like, I helped you win that match now. Dom's looking good for helping out. Rhea helped out successfully. Balor and Priest were on the same page the whole match.
Yeah.
There's barely any dissension. I think at one point they were discussing what to do, but it was never like I don't agree with what you're saying. It was just like, what do you think we should do? Let's do this. Okay, let's go. And that's it. And it was a really, really well-worked match. I really like the story elements to it, because I think the Judgment Day story's been good, if a bit samey for a while, and it needed something else to add to it. This is now the extra layer. I think having JD McDonough working his way in, and now they get the tag titles, this is the fresh bit of the story to keep it from being stale. I love this. I think this is all great.
JD didn't celebrate them.
No.
Celebrate with them at the end. The closing shot of this segment was, all four with their belts. But no McDonough. So WWE really seemed to have, Triple H. And it's probably Triple H has always known this, considering his legacies in Evolution and DX. Factions and large factions give you so many opportunities to tell character conflicts and stories, not just with the people they're feuding with, but the internal tensions. So this is like Raw's Bloodline.
Yeah, essentially, which apparently is, from the reports, that's what they wanted to do. This is going to be the successor to the Bloodline story once that's done, is the Judgment Day.
And it's remarkable fleshing out characters more and more and more, and not just characters, but the whole faction. They become more difficult to just boo as outright heels. I do see them more as these... They're definitely heels. It's not like there's a shade of grey thing in here. They're heels, 100%, but I enjoy their love for each other.
Yes.
I like them as a babe. I experience them as a babyface act. Which is kind of what happened with Bloodline at points.
I think it's the same kind of appeal that I had for, like, the Shield back in the day. Out-and-out heels, but I could tell that, like, all three of these guys really cared about being in the Shield and cared about each other. And I was like, well, that's nice. I appreciate them for that aspect of it. So, yeah, I thought this was a great match. I think it was the right choice, because realistically, KO and Sammy haven't done a whole lot with the belts. They've just kind of been tagging with Cody. And that's about it since they won them, which is a shame. I think they could have done a lot with it. But if you're not going to do anything with it, I think having the tag titles in this faction is probably the right way to go.
I said to Tempest yesterday, because on SmackDown, the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley had a moment with KO and Sammy where Bobby was like, we're putting the whole roster on notice, we're going to get all the gold. And then KO and Sammy came out and they let them pass for their tag team match. I was like, yeah, I mean, it could happen, but that's face versus face. I reckon Judgment Day win, and you can have Judgment Day versus Lashley's new Hurt Business.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Though I thought they were going to be heels. Why aren't they heels?
Hurt Business?
Yeah. That was like the thing.
Yeah, Lashley's smiling too much. Probably because they want to go against Judgment Day.
I suppose so, yeah.
But that's one other benefit of this, actually, is Judgment Day, which is one of the more over acts in the whole promotion, and SmackDown is feeling desperately mid-card right now.
Oh, yeah.
Those tag belts allow you to go to both brands.
That's true.
So it might liven up.
I mean, you can go to both brands anyway.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Owens and Zayn didn't.
Knight and
Even
Miz,
when they had...
Knight and Miz had a match on this show.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Miz is SmackDown, isn't he?
Miz is Raw, Knight is SmackDown.
I thought Knight moved across. I can't remember.
Chat? Correct us, please.
So it wasn't just the tag team title gold. Rhea Ripley also had a match against Raquel Rodriguez, which I actually really enjoyed. I seem to be in the minority.
That's what I was going to say. I think you're in the minority. I thought this was fine.
It was like 15 minutes. Because what happened is I was like,
was
okay.
It?
I think it was really
I thought
long.
It was shorter than that.
Well, exactly. You enjoyed it more than you thought.
I need to check how long this was.
So Rhea Ripley's pay-per-view matches, and whenever she wrestles on TV, have been over really quickly and decisively. So I just thought this would be a similar thing. And, the opening was Rhea Ripley trying to go against...
Oh my God, it was 17 minutes!
Doesn't feel like a 17-minute match, does it?
No.
That's what I'm saying. I think this was a good match.
It was fine. It was fine.
it affected your perception of time, Pete.
Yeah, sure.
So I thought, so at the start, Ripley and Raquel, Ripley's doing a strength spot, shoulder tackle, and Raquel's not budging. And you can just see Ripley get a bit more like, this person's stronger than me. And she had to change her style and go for a more not technical wrestling, but she couldn't just rely on power. And I like that story. I think that was a well-told story. Really stiff drop kick to Raquel's face at one point. Rhea targets Raquel's knee. I think there was Rhea busted open her nose because there was blood on the canvas, and she snorted it at Raquel. Then Raquel's chucking Rhea outside. It's just the main problem with this match is Raquel Rodriguez is a one-dimensional babyface, and it's very difficult to root for her story against the evil Rhea Ripley when Rhea Ripley's so cool.
She's just so cool,
and you just want to see her squash people.
Yeah, I'll also say I think I can't really get into Raquel as this big, like, huge, dominant powerhouse, just because I think she's tall, but she doesn't feel very, like, big. You know what I mean? Like, Ripley is huge. She's massive, right? But I just don't feel like Raquel is. Like, she shows off her back, and I'm like, yeah, that's a back.
Oh, it's a big back.
Like, Ripley's got a more impressive back than Raquel. You know what I mean?
I'd say, like, she does.
Like, Jamie Hayter's back is better. Jade Cargill's back is better. Like, Raquel's just got a back. I'm like, well, what's the big deal here? What am I supposed to be getting?
I think Raquel's got a better back. It's a weird conversation.
I don't know.
I don't think I've ever thought about people's backs in relation to each other. I think it was
because I just don't think I buy into... Like, when she was, like, shrugging off Ripley's tackles, I was like, I just don't think that you would.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe there's just a little disconnect there for me. I don't know.
Well, I thought it was good, but I am in the minority. I've seen people say this went way too long. This felt like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
But Dom came down in the end, got in the ring, Raquel hit him, and Rhea Ripley was able to hit the Riptide to win. So Dom actually helped both Judgment Day matches get the W.
Yeah, I thought this was a really solid TV match with a solid TV match finish.
It's not the last time we'll say it.
But which means, though, that Rhea retained her belt, maintaining Judgment Day hold of the gold. Yeah. I would say, if it were me, I probably would have put this match on before the tag match. So that Rhea has held up her end of the deal and said, I've still got my belt. Builds more intrigue for the tag match, because that's the much bigger question mark, because I think people would have assumed that Rhea would have retained anyway, and she's the one who already has the belt. Since they already did the guys winning the tag belts and then doing the big shot of, Judgment Day's got all the gold, it was like, well, Raquel's probably not winning now, is she?
That's a good idea. I do think I do see the reasoning for this match order, though, as well, because you've got the women's match, the women's title match, and the men's title match going on last.
Yeah.
And it did make it feel more big time. You know, they did the lights, they did the big ring intro, your women's championship match for this evening. But yeah, storyline tension-wise, that would have been better.
Yeah.
Let's see what you all thought on the UltraChats, WrestleTalk.com/support. Send them in there. We'll read out every single one over $5. Matt Hennessy says, with a big donation and lots of words, I really like Zayn and KO. I really like Zayn and KO's run as champs. I thought the run lost a bit of momentum after KO's injury, but with Judgment Day as champs, it adds a new dynamic to Raw and their story. Also, Finn Balor is now a Grand Slam champion.
Yeah, I guess so, because he did win the Universal title, technically.
I guess we got to call him Win Balor.
Hey!
Not Pin Balor. Backup Hangman brought this up on Twitter, and I agree with Judgment. As champs, there are a lot of babyface tag teams to chase to give us fresh matches like Alpha Academy, New Day, and DIY. We have seen the tag division become a focal point of Raw recently. Usually I don't like overbooked matches, but this was them telling a story of Zayn and KO being the better team, but the numbers game caught up to them. While it wasn't a clean win for Judgment Day, given the fact Zayn and KO headlined Mania, I'm okay with that. Zayn and Owens are two of the top stars of the company, so I understand the mindset of protecting them and making them look strong in defeat. I feel like come Survivor Series, we will get War Games with Judgment Day and JD versus Seth, Cody, Sammy, and Kevin. I think that's a bit hodgepodge.
I don't think they're doing War Games. I don't think there's been any announcements about War Games, right? I think it might just be Survivor Series this year.
So William Regal left AEW around November time last year. And from what I remember, there was speculation that there was a year clause that he couldn't appear on TV.
Yeah.
I don't know if this year's Survivor Series is outside of that restriction.
Oh, that's funny.
But why would you not?
If you're not doing
That's how he comes back.
I mean, sure, but if you're not doing War Games, then don't do that. But if you are doing War Games, let Regal say it, please.
Mitchell Gillam's been a member for 8 months. I thought this show was a lot of fun to watch. The Rhea match felt slow. But everything else was fun. Oh, excuse me for enjoying wrestling.
No one's criticizing you for liking it.
Yeah, you're right. Trish and Becky match of the night for me. Happy birthday, Pete.
Not my birthday, but thank you.
Connie, the blasphemy of saying D&D is a 2 out of 5 hobby triggered me hard enough to donate for the first time. Pete, please put this $5 towards a new set of dice. Becky and Trish was match of the night. Wild to think Trish debuted in 2000 and is killing it in 2023. Love you, boys. Love you, wild. Boys, I think means Ollie was right about D&D being a 2 out of 5.
I don't think that's correct.
Ben Flerick. So what's next for Jay? Does WWE even have a plan? Or is this going to be like breaking up the Dudleys? I love main event Jay, so I do hope something good comes of it. But he might just feud forever with Judgment Day with Zayn and Owens or something. Oh, God, no. That's exactly what's going to happen, isn't it?
Oh, God. We'll talk about Jay soon. But is all I want to say in advance of that.
And Matt Hennessy, credit to Tony Khan for getting rid of Punk and doing the right thing for AEW after all the drama with Brawl Out, him banning people from Collision and Brawl In. I just wish he could have waited until after Pete's birthday. Happy birthday, Pete.
He did wait until after my birthday. My real birthday.
Yeah, crazy. What a crazy story. What a crazy couple of weeks for wrestling as well.
Goodness me.
I'll have a WrestleTalk news video up in a couple of hours, which will, have poor old Ollie, poor old CM Punk fan Ollie.
I just need the table. It's okay. Shall we talk about the rest of Payback?
Yeah.
Which had the opening video package to hype it. Watched it and I was like, that's a good video package. This sure is a B show, isn't it? Michael Cole then said there's going to be retribution on this show. And I went, uh-oh, is there? I hope not. Are we getting the return of Slapjack?
This is crazy because me and you have the exact same notes. So in Pittsburgh, the opening video package really made it feel like Saturday Night Raw plus Cena.
Yep.
And then Cole says this will be a night of revenge, retribution, and payback. Retribution?
Yeah. And then we had the opening match. For a lot of people, this was match of the night. I think this was match of the night for me as well.
Really impressed.
Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus in a steel cage match. Great video package as always for this one. Really makes the storyline look good and not overrun. Tiffany Stratton was also watching in the crowd. She comes into play later. And this was really fun. A really well-worked cage match, I thought. There was really, so little downtime in this match. They just went right into spot. Because normally if you're doing a cage match on Raw or something like that, they'll throw into the cage, pose to the crowd, pick them up, throw into the cage, pose to the crowd. There was none of that. They just went here's the next spot, here's the next spot, here's the next spot. Really, really well worked.
Well, I think it's because Austin Theory used up all the headlock quota in his Rey Mysterio match.
I am baffled at how good Trish Stratus is.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's unbelievable how good she is. Because she is slotted right in to just be oh, she's one of the best women on the roster. Wow. That's unbelievable.
I have multiple points in this match where I'm watching the action. I'm like, oh, it's a good match. It's a good match. And then I'll remember Trish didn't wrestle for 15 years.
Right?
And she was, no offense, nowhere near this good when she wrestled before.
Yeah, she's just improved she's been wrestling the whole time. It's crazy how good she is.
Maybe it was just the way she was booked before or just, I guess if she's a really good athlete, which she must be.
Yeah.
But still, this 15 years of age on the body shouldn't allow you to be this good now.
Yeah.
After having so much time out.
Yeah.
Very impressed.
Yep.
Same as in the ladder match. She thinks she's going to protect herself, but she takes all the sickest bumps.
Yep.
So big respect.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a really cool spot here, and credit to the commentary for pointing this out, because I would not have got it. Trish hit a Widow's Peak, and then Becky Lynch hit a Twist of Fate, which is a callback to the first women's steel cage match between Victoria and Lita. So they hit both of their finishes, which I thought was a really cool thing. Also, Luke was constantly talking about, where's Lita in my storyline?
Yeah.
Where's Lita in the story? There she is. There's your payoff, Luke. They did it. They then got into the big spots after that. Stratisfaction, near fall.
From the top rope?
Well, that was just a normal Stratisfaction first for the near fall. And then there was a top rope bulldog / Stratisfaction, near fall. I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. Then they went up to the top. Trish Stratus's legs got hooked underneath the top and was dangling off the edge upside down on the outside of the cage. I was like, that's a really fun spot. That's really cool. Because, one, it kind of looks dangerous. It's not that dangerous, but it has the element of danger, that kind of showmanship of danger, which is really cool. But then Becky got her back in, and from that position, then hit a superplex back into the ring, which was an awesome spot. Crowd went nuts for it as well.
Yeah, to get a genuine near fall off a superplex is quite something.
Yeah. No, really, really good. And Trish just got the shoulder up on that one as well. It's like a really low effort, only just get the shoulder up. It was really good. Zoe Stark then came out. I really wish they didn't do interference in cage matches.
I know.
But I will say the interference in this match wasn't too egregious, because it was only right at the end, and it was very quickly resolved. In that Stark kind of interfered. She tried to pull Trish out the ring, didn't get her out, hit Lynch with the door, came in and broke up a manhandle slam pin where Becky would have won, but then got a manhandle slam herself, and then Becky hit a second rope manhandle slam to Trish to get the win. It was all really well done.
What I really like most about the interference, but I do agree with you, cage matches should not in general have interference.
Yes.
But every WWE one does these days.
I know. It's just so frustrating when they keep advertising. Like, well, that means there's going to be no interference. Like, there is, though, isn't there?
So Stark gets in the ring and she breaks up that manhandle slam pin. And Becky stands up and she goes to the corner and she just closes the cage door.
Yeah.
It was this really badass moment of, okay,
all right,
you're in here now with me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Really good. After the match, Zoe Stark and Trish Stratus break up. Trish was very annoyed that Stark seemingly didn't do more to help her win. And Stark was like, well, screw you then. And then hits her with the whatever it is.
The Z360.
That's what I was going to say Z630, but that's not right.
If you're English, the Z360.
Yeah.
I've seen somebody say that Zoe turned heel here. I definitely interpreted it as Trish slapped Zoe as a ungrateful mentor thing.
I'm hoping that this is not a babyface turn for either of them. Because it shouldn't be. They should both still be heels. They've just split up the heels. Now, here's a question for you. Something I mentioned in my edited review. Obviously, this match was delayed from SummerSlam to this show. But if it was on SummerSlam, I don't think it would have gotten as much spotlight. It wouldn't have been given as much time, wouldn't have been given as much of a chance to shine. Whereas here, it did. Do you think it would have been better for a match to get not as much spotlight, but on a bigger stage, or to have it on a smaller stage, but with more spotlight? Because I don't know what the right answer is.
In this instance, on SummerSlam, just the build. The build went on too long.
Yes, that's a fact.
That's the main driver for me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If you take the build out of it, in just a general sense, if you had this match, but on SummerSlam where it might not have got as much time, do you think it's better to have it be on a Payback, but give it a chance to breathe?
I think I like Triple H's approach of trying to spread all the major matches so you get bigger shows with your big four, but even the typical B shows have also really big matches.
Yeah.
So I don't mind having the blow off of a feud on a fast lane.
Yeah.
But as long as that is a focal point of it. And yeah, so I don't mind it.
Yeah.
The problem here is the build for me.
Yes. I think that's the biggest thing for me, is that if it didn't feel like it had run its course, if they'd have done more for the story, if fair enough if you want to delay it from SummerSlam, but you have to then do more with the story in that gap, then I think this would have been justified. But regardless, I'm really happy that we got this match, because it was great. Had such a good time.
Good that it washes the taste out of the mouth of their Raw match.
Exactly.
Which wasn't as good.
Which wasn't very good. We then got a cool promo about Shinsuke Nakamura and Seth Rollins in advance of the main event later.
Well, I thought, oh my God, it's happening now?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And then...
He then came out to introduce Payback after we've already had a match. Good stuff, John.
I both love John Cena and I hate John Cena. It's the inverse of Punk, where I love Punk, but currently I hate Punk.
Yeah.
I love John Cena now, but I've still got that bit of me that hated him for 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I watched the Suicide Squad last night, which is why I didn't see the CM Punk news until about 10:30. And I was like, John Cena is so good in this movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Here's the thing. I saw a tweet, and I think I agree with it. Is John Cena the wrestler with the consistently worst merch in wrestling? Because the new t-shirt's really bad.
Yeah. Everyone's calling them out. Like, the wrestlers in the ring again.
Yeah.
That's a rubbish t-shirt.
Rubbish t-shirt. And has it ever been good?
You see, I don't see this as any more visually abhorrent than all these other things he's worn. I think he looks silly.
Yeah. He's always looked silly.
I don't like John Cena the character. No. I hate John Cena the character.
Yeah.
I love John Cena the human being. And it's a very difficult thing to resolve.
Yeah, totally. So Cena comes out and announces Payback. It's already started, but yeah. Comes out and then he says, hey, I'm a host and I'm going to be a special guest referee for the match between LA Knight and The Miz. And I was like, all right, he's doing something. That'll be fine. And then The Miz came out and I went, oh no. It's 2011 WWE again.
I thought, I don't need this. I don't want this callback. Of all the nostalgia that there is, I don't want this one.
I don't need the Mania 27 main event. They then had a promo back and forth. It's very 2011 WWE. I can't with it. I'm sure it was performed fine.
It was, yeah.
I had this haze over me. I was like, I can't do this right now.
I bet newer viewers are gonna have got a lot from it. I think viewers who were children at the in that 2010, 2015 period will really like it. But for anyone else, it's I hate this.
Yeah. It's
sorry.
Not my favorite thing in the world. But then it leads to Cena saying, I'm going to be a special guest ref, Miz saying no, and then Cena starts saying yeah, and it leads to LA Knight coming out, and they had a match. This was also a TV match, I thought, like a solid TV match.
This is the drawback of LA Knight. I love LA Knight.
I don't think this is LA Knight's fault.
I think both LA Knight and Miz suffer from the same what's the word? They are excellent promos. But unfortunately those promos, and they make me want to see the match. That's how good at promos they are. The matches never deliver. The matches are nowhere near as good as the promos.
Well, yeah. I wouldn't call Knight a bad worker, though.
No. He's a totally ordinary worker.
Yeah. I don't think this is the best person to put him with. Put it that way. That's what I'd say. I think the only point of intrigue for me in this match is when LA Knight and John Cena started getting into it a little bit, because Cena was doing he's doing the 4 counts in the corner and then pulling him away, did it with Miz, and then did it with Knight. And I was like, okay, are we going to build to an LA Knight John Cena match? Because even though it might not be the best technical match in the world, whatever, that's still an interesting match on paper. I don't think it's going to lead to anything by the end of this match. I also really enjoyed Miz doing the world-famous it kicks, and then Michael Cole just goes, yeah, he stole them from somebody. And then just breezed right past it. Knight almost hit Cena. Again, another thing I was like, what was this going to lead to? Skull-crushing finale. There was a near fall. Miz gets cocky.
Not a big pop for the near fall, though.
No one really cared,
but that's the skull-crushing finale. Yeah. And it got a...
yeah. And And then Miz got really cocky and tried to do a 5-knuckle shuffle to taunt John Cena. Got too cocky. Knight got up and hit the BFT for the win. And then Cena got on the stage and then endorsed LA Knight. And I think that's it. I think that's what all that was building to, was them butting heads, was for Cena to go, you're actually okay. I'll endorse you.
So in one way, I think Cena's inclusion was a really smart idea. Triple H and the team currently running WWE are intelligent people.
Yeah.
They're not looking at the Miz versus LA Knight going, this is going to be worthy of the build it's had in ring.
Sure.
So how do we distract from the fact that this is going to be not at the level of a modern day in-ring wrestling match? Whack a John Cena in there. And then the thing on paper and moving forward in the video recap packages, it won't be like, actually, it was just a plodding standard 10-minute plus match. It'll be John Cena shook LA Knight's hand.
Yeah.
Great way to continue getting Knight over. The problem of including Cena, though, is it dilutes the main reason this was working so well. And that is that really intense promo blood feud that Knight and Miz have had. So, I'm like, I actually really wanted to see Miz and Knight wrestle.
See, I don't know whether it's in either of their wheelhouses, but I would have preferred Knight and Miz to come out and have a 5-minute match tops and just kind of go a bit harder, just be a bit more intense and carry on that blood feud. You know, maybe Miz comes out and does one more promo and Knight's like, ain't having that. Storms in and they just start brawling and going at it kind of thing. Wrestle for a few minutes, Knight hits his finish and wins. That I think would have been probably a more effective carryover from the intensity of the promo battles, I think.
I like that. I remember someone, I think Luke said on 3 Count, just have Knight squash Miz.
Yeah, win easily.
Actually, that's a better, hide the negatives, right?
Absolutely.
Also, I think it was Alvarez who said at the end, if this was back in the day, Attitude Era, and John Cena's going to shake The Rock's hand or Stone Cold Austin's hand, stunner.
Yeah.
Rock bottom.
Yep.
So when Knight just shakes Cena's hand and walks off, I'm like, well, yeah, that does put over Knight a bit on paper.
Yeah.
But for me as a viewer, I'm just like, okay, that lame person, that lame character, has endorsed someone who's actually been quite cool recently.
Yeah.
I would have loved Knight to just hit Cena with something.
I think that would have been cool. Yeah. We then got the United States title match. Rey Mysterio and Austin Theory. And I got flashbacks when they said this match is sponsored by Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I was like, not again. Not a Rey Mysterio match. You know, I think people have been very, very critical, including me, of WWE's brand integration. And I think that the boards turning into the Cinnamon Toast Crunch logo, that's fine.
It's fine.
You ever watch football? All the boards around there are all sponsored. That's fine. Now, the Tron changing to a full screen image of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I'm like, oh, that is too far. Yeah, that's too much. Don't like that. But this match, would you believe it? It's a TV level match, this one.
I thought there were so many points in this match where I thought, are we in an ad break? Are they, has Austin Theory got a rest hold on because we're about to come back in 2 minutes?
Yeah, genuinely.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I like Austin Theory's work. I think, you know, some of his offense, he's got a weird way of building up to moves. He's got a good look. He's got a natural heel charisma.
Yeah.
In the way he was really funny as well. The way his matches are laid out, and I've got to think it's someone backstage going, this is the template of match you wrestle. It's the Randy Orton template, essentially.
Yeah.
And I think that has been bestowed on this character from Vince, and it's like a legacy thing because, you know, Austin was Vince's pet thing. It is so dull.
Yeah.
And even with Rey Mysterio in, I could not get into this match. Nothing happened. There was just such a long headlock. Last few minutes were okay, some reversals, but Mysterio just rolled up Theory and beat him clean. Austin Theory is booked so badly.
Yeah, he is. I thought it was fine. I didn't feel as strongly about it as you did. I enjoyed the finish, thought it was alright, but I don't care. I was waiting for something to happen with like the LWO, and then nothing happened because LWO came out and celebrated with him. I'm like, well, hey, he won, and then that was it.
Yeah,
it was fine. Just not PLE worthy. This is a fine TV match, but not something you should see on a pay-per-view. Kathy Kelly was backstage, interviewed Becky Lynch, but before she can say anything, Tiffany Stratton interferes and says, I just wanted to apologize.
Interferes in an interview.
Interferes.
Interrupts.
Interrupts. That's the word I'm looking for. And she
cost Becky the win.
Yeah. The Winterview. She comes up and said, in a promo a few weeks ago on NXT, I said that, I said that I was better than a lot of former NXT women's champions, including, Bayley, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch. But I just wanted to apologize to you in person because you were never an NXT women's champion, which I thought is a very funny, good line from a heel. And Becky was like, well, I think you should really be worrying about your title match on Tuesday, but maybe I'll see you soon. So Becky going down to NXT for a few with Tiffany Stratton sounds really good. I think that'd be fun.
I'm so impressed with what they've done with NXT.
It's really building momentum.
The 2.0 rebrand,
Woof.
I thought you are really out of step with modern wrestling audiences. Yet they have...
I stand by it. They were.
They're doing the same ratings now. I mean, if you factor in the decline in TV viewership, I bet, and how fewer homes NXT is in relation to when it was black and gold, it's like... It's probably up now.
Yeah.
And you've got Dragunov and you've got Bates and Carmelo, like good. But Carmelo Hayes, like he's a homegrown. He's not an indie star.
He was on the indies.
He was on the indies, but to me, he feels like an NXT star as opposed to someone like Dragunov, who's had a whole like previous run in WXW and even in Progress.
Creed Brothers are awesome as well.
Yeah, Creed Brothers, Bron Breakker.
Bron Breakker.
All these people who wouldn't have got a shot in black and gold.
Yeah.
And they're so good. And the way they're using main roster people, the Dom title winners inspired.
Yep.
And it's increasing ratings. They're not far off Dynamite most weeks. 100, 120,000 viewers. And the cost and less star power they've got here, they are really outperforming their resources. Yeah. Well done, NXT.
Yeah. I still stand by. The 2.0 rebrand was terrible. They then learned and didn't do full 2.0. And when they went back to like the white era of NXT, the white and gold era of NXT, then it started to become all right again. We then got the tag match that we've already spoken about, where Judgment Day win the belts. We then had the Grayson Waller effect. Now, Grayson Waller comes out and he says that I thought he had a funny line again about the Pittsburgh crowd, saying that I've checked your literacy scores. Got something in common with my guest tonight. You both can't finish a story. Way, it's a good line. Brings out Cody Rhodes. Cody gets a big pop. And Cody says, we've been on there's so many talk shows throughout wrestling history. We know how this is going to go down. You're going to say some mean stuff to me. I'm going to hit you with a crossroads. Is that what you want to do? Well, actually, why don't we subvert expectations? I've got an announcement to make. I've used my backstage power. I saw an injustice on SmackDown, and I want to right that wrong. So welcome the newest member of the Raw roster, main event Jey Uso. And then Jey came out, and then he super kicked Grayson Waller, and that was that.
Let me bring in the person who cost me the championship at WrestleMania.
Well, it was Solo, technically.
Did the Usos run out at any point?
The Usos ran in, but then KO and Sammy chased him off.
Beat them off.
Yeah. Did they now?
Both at the same time.
So, okay. Here's what I like about it. Is that if the plan still is to do Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania 40, it kind of just brings it back to the forefront of your mind. Where you just go, oh yeah, Cody Roman. Just keeps it fresh. I like the fact that Cody, still hating the bloodline, sees that Jey has, exited the bloodline. He's like, okay, maybe there's something we can work out here. Maybe we can be friends. Maybe we can have a bond here. I'll try and get him on Raw so I can talk to him or whatever. That's some. What are they doing with the Jey-Jimmy feud? After the really underwhelming SmackDown stuff with Jimmy, now Jay's on Raw. I'm worried that they're just going to completely ignore the story until they get to, like, the Rumble, Chamber, and then they just go, do you remember this? And it'll be like, you haven't spoken about this in months. And then they'll be like, guys, long-term story.
Potentially Survivor Series.
Yeah, every chance.
Jay and Jim.
Well, it depends if they do brand warfare this year, because they didn't do it last year, did they?
Well, the brand warfare will be Uso supremacy.
Yeah. Goodness me.
I do feel sorry for SmackDown.
Oh, yeah.
They really need some talent to go the other way. Because when Roman's not on that show, oh, God. It's mid-card.
It's not great.
It's so mid-card.
And now they've lost Jay.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. I fear that WWE have gone, how can we make this last until Mania? I know, we just won't have them interact. Put them on separate brands. And then that's it. And they're not going to tell the story.
I don't disapprove of that, though.
I do. Don't stretch it out till Mania. If you can't stretch it out till Mania, don't just be like, well, we'll just ignore it for now until later.
Well, let's see if they stretch it out till Mania. Then.
Yeah.
The idea of Jay quitting SmackDown and coming back on Raw, I think is a nice idea.
Sure.
See how long that lasts. You know, if it does last all the way till April, then maybe that will suck all the momentum they had, which they'd already derailed someone anyway. But if it's a couple of month thing and then they collide again at Survivor Series, I think that's actually a good time frame.
Sure. I think I've been soured on it since SummerSlam because I think that was a poor choice. And seeing what Jimmy's been doing since then, I'm not optimistic. So basically, I'm less willing to give them the benefit of the doubt now because they've had a few strikes in a row of just being disappointing. So now I'm like, well, what are you doing with this? Because now I don't have the faith. We then had Rhea and Raquel, which we've already spoken about. John Cena backstage interviewed Damian Priest and Finn Balor.
I did not find this funny.
Nor did I. Where Priest and Balor said, we're the Judgment Day. We won. We're going to go celebrate. And I was like, we knew that already. This was a pointless segment. John Cena was in...
I think it was to really get over, I'm not going to cash in the briefcase at the end.
Sure.
Even though it doesn't work because they're heels.
Yes.
And you wouldn't trust what they tell you.
Sure.
Yeah.
John Cena was in a jacket and tie. Correct me if I'm wrong. Said he was going to channel his inner Lance Catamaran here, which is a character from Southpaw Regional Wrestling. Incredibly funny character. I don't think Cena remember who that character is. Because this wasn't him at all. Not You're even close.
Yeah. It was like a kid's TV show character.
He was pretending to be like a new backstage interviewer, first day on the job, really nervous, was like the vibe he was going for. And I didn't get it.
No.
It's a bit of a waste of time.
I can't remember the name of the name of the actual real life announcer that Lance Catamaran is sort of paying homage to. Oh. Gordon Soley. Gordon Soley?
Sure.
From like the 70s, 80s voice of wrestling. You know, very straight-laced. Here it is. But yes, super, super professional.
Yeah.
But what he was doing was, it's my first day being a presenter of the same shtick he was doing with The Miz before the special guest referee spot. I don't know how to host a pay-per-view. Have you got any tips for me? I did not find it funny. It's childish, immature. And I love childish and immature. This was actually for kids.
Yeah. So we then had the main event.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And I glanced at the time and I was like, we've got 35 minutes left on this show. This should be a good match. Really looking forward to this. I think about 15 minutes of that was Seth. Just his entrance.
Oh, I thought I could also see that in the ring as well because Seth's going to do most of the work in the Nakamura match.
But yeah, Seth's entrance came out, did his usual shtick, looked like an idiot, as normal. Came out in the ring, stood in the spotlight, felt like it went on for ages. And I get it. People like doing the chant. You know, like Chris Jericho does like the one bit of Judas and then he cuts it off, you know. Even though people would probably do it for a lot longer, you've got to know when to stop. I think this went over the line. But this is just me. I'm anti-fun. After this, though, we got an awesome entrance for Shinsuke. I loved this entrance. He looked so cool. And I got to the end of it and I was like, God, what have they been doing with Nakamura?
I know.
For years? Like, I know Nakamura sometimes doesn't always, give it his all.
Yeah.
He just let him surf. But also, like, I think if he's presented with more, he might be more willing to try more, maybe. Because I think he tried in this match.
The meat of this story, which is the meat is the lower back of Seth Rollins, the rump.
Yeah.
Gives you something to work with. And Nakamura, over the last couple of weeks, has really found a character again, as opposed to, I am trading wins with Bronson Reed and... Ciampa, was it?
Yeah,
God,
I think so.
So nothing, I can't remember.
Yeah.
So Nakamura doing this with the anime style video package beforehand, just telling the story of Nakamura and Seth and targeting the back. It made Nakamura cool again.
Yeah.
I never really believed that he was going to win, but they did enough in the presentation, and I thought the video package to summarize the feud so far was also really well put together and produced, that there was 10% of me near the end that thought he could win.
Yeah. I think it was probably more for me because I wanted him to, rather than logically speaking. This one I was thinking with my heart. Yeah. And I was like, I just want Nakamura to win. I said to Luke on the prediction show that I wanted them to respond naturally to Nakamura being awesome. Because I think this was probably outlined to be a filler feud to start with. To be like, Nakamura do whatever. But now that he found a character and everyone's going, oh man, Nakamura's awesome, I wanted them to respond to that and be like, okay, we'll respond in kind. We'll give Nakamura the belt. We'll give him a run. They didn't, but I wanted them to.
When was of Seth's championship matches so far since he won the belt?
Yeah.
Has there been a single one of them you've wanted Seth to win?
No. Sorry, Seth.
I wanted AJ to win that first one. I wanted Finn to win the middle two, and I wanted Nak to win here.
Yeah.
That's all of them, right?
That is all of them.
Is that a good champion? Not for a babyface.
But his matches haven't been bad either. No, I don't think he's had any bad matches.
They've been decent, yeah.
Yeah. He's on a good run, but also I do want it to end.
Yeah. It's just...
it's a weird mix.
Great wrestler. I've said it so many times, I do not care for the character. I find it really obnoxious.
Yeah.
I couldn't really tell you what his character is.
It's a song.
Beyond laughing, in a song.
Yeah.
Whereas Nakamura, Balor, fascinating. He's trying to avenge this thing that happened to him 7 years ago. He's obsessed by the belt.
Yeah.
Like so much to work with there. Seth, you do a Falcon Arrow. Like, they gave him stuff as well to work with, and I think Nakamura used it very well. And it's the lower back injury. And Seth, great wrestler. He always puts on great matches. He's got his template of match, which I love, and he always does variations on the spot, so it just subverts little bits you think are going to happen. But he didn't sell the back. The commentators said, he's got a bad back. And Seth would occasionally go, ooh. But then he would do a superplex into a Falcon Arrow from the top rope.
He didn't do that.
Did he not?
He specifically didn't. I was going to bring this up. I think that he did subverge that because he went up to do it, looked back, and changed his mind and did a Rana instead to land on his knees to protect his back.
Mac who hit a Falcon?
Because it was like a not Michinoku driver, but one of those. Where he did it off the turnbuckle. Yeah, because I thought Rollins actually did really well in this match to protect his back. He didn't sell it like, I'm in pain, but he did a lot of like the psychology of the match. He specifically didn't do certain moves to protect his back, which I thought was really good.
Well, I think he needed to sell the back more visually,
actually in pain.
I think Seth's quite good. Well, he should be quite good at that Shawn Michaels over the top almost babyface selling. And then I am more invested in his babyface comeback as opposed to just... the back is a factor in this match, but I never really buy into it as a credible outcome.
There was also a bit where Nakamura did his rolling armbar, which always looks so good. Seth tried to power up out of it, and then his back gave out, so he would flop back down to the floor again. I was like, that's awesome. That's really good. I really love the psychology of this match, especially because even really simple moves, like Nakamura just hitting a suplex, I'm like, ooh, on the back. Like, so much back-related offense in this match. I was like,
Payback.
I was going to say, get Roddy on the phone. You know?
Nakamura!
Yeah, but Rollins managed to power up out of the armbar, hit the powerbomb, which is really cool. Really nice sequence of counters afterwards. Really like that. Camera work really needs to be a little bit better because they missed 2 spots back to back towards the end of this. There was a Kinshasa to the back of the head, which they missed. And then Shinsuke was waiting for him to get back up, like lining up for another one, wanted to hit it on his front. And then he just stopped for a second. I was like, well, why is he stopping? Rollins had passed out and the camera missed it. I was like, come on! That's 2 back-to-back. It's a good spot as well, but they missed it. Rollins, load of counters, roll-up counters, back-to-back-to-back. Rollins gets up, Shinsuke's on his knees, hits a stomp. 1, 2, 3. Rollins retains. Really well-worked match. I had a really good time with this one.
Waited a while on that pin there, didn't he?
Sure did. I thought it was going to be a near fall, but he did just win. Yeah. Which is fine.
Put over the stump.
Yeah.
What a finisher.
Yeah.
And then it sort of like held for a while, and I think the whole crowd thought, cash in. They've been talking about his back for so long. What a time to do this. But no cash in. No. And they went to the recap of the whole pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But apparently in the arena, Nakamura then attacked Rollins after the show went off air. So I don't know if this feud will continue. I feel like this was a pretty decisive Seth victory.
Yeah.
So unless...
Probably will anyway.
Yeah. But I think what they've got here, regardless of Nak losing, he feels cool again.
Yes. Big
so
time.
I really hope they've got something for him that makes him feel good. Just how Finn Balor feels better from his feud with Seth.
Absolutely, yeah. Also, absolutely insane that this is Nakamura's first pay-per-view main event.
Is it really?
Absolutely absurd.
On the main roster, of course.
Yes. Yeah, not including NXT. Because anytime he challenged for the world title, and even the Royal Rumble that he won, wasn't the main event.
Damn.
Every time. Isn't that crazy? What have they been doing with Nakamura? Come on, gang. When he lost to Jinder Mahal, that was not the main event. When he lost to AJ Styles, also wasn't the main event. Any of those times. But anyway, that was the show. Do we have a poll? Can we do a poll? Is that a thing that we can do? I don't know.
I don't know who's on the modding team.
I don't know who's on the modding today. If we have a mod mother, can we get a poll in the chat, please? Let us know what you thought of the show and keep getting in your UltraChats. Let's get to them now. WrestleTalk.com/support. We're going to read out all the ones that are $5 and up by the time the show goes off the air. Do you want to take them away, Ollie?
Sure. Big MGM says, not sure why people are worried about Jay going to Raw. They did the same with Ray and Dom last year in the lead up to Mania. Throw in a few segments here and there, then come back to it by the Rumble.
Sure. I think the momentum's going to go.
You also need something for the Bloodline to do in the meantime. Because the Jimmy Paul solo stuff is... Ugh.
Yeah.
Gaz Gengar. The Cena t-shirt reminds me of the McLaren Endurance liveries. Liveries.
I don't know what that is.
I think I've seen people say it's a car reference.
Sure.
And Cena loves cars, and McLaren's a car maker, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Well done.
Formula One. Surprised there hasn't been a cease and desist yet. That'd be ironic.
That would be very funny.
Unless there's been some sort of agreement somewhere, I wouldn't say no to a Cena versus Knight match.
Me neither.
That could be what they're building towards. Apparently, Cena will have a match in this little run.
Yeah.
Maybe on Fastlane. I think the better idea is with Cody, though.
I think you do Cena versus Knight at Fastlane, and you do Cena versus Cody at Crown Jewel.
Okay. Yeah,
why not?
That's
both?
Got Crown Jewel written all over.
Oh, yeah. If
Gabriel
Cena wanted to do that in Saudi.
Gabriel Reyes, member for 25 months. I've always hated hold all the gold storylines with factions, and there have been a lot lately. I hope Judgment Day, not McDonough, is short.
Yeah. I'd like hold all the gold stories. Mainly because when they did the panning shot, and they were like, here's the women's title, here's the Money in the Bank, here's the tag titles, here's the North American title, I was like, cool. Cool.
And the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah, it's cool.
Edgar Carrasco. Do we want Chad Gable to win the IC title tomorrow? Or have Gunther win to get the record, then get a proper rematch at next PLE?
The latter.
Yeah.
I want Gable to dethrone him, but not yet.
But it'll be such a great thing to get Chad over. That could be a huge milestone in his career. He could go from here to here.
Yep, 100%.
Ket. What's stopping Jimmy from going over to Raw to confront Jay?
Yep.
The brand split in WWE today means nothing. This Bloodline story is just dragging its feet at this point.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest thing, is they could resolve the story, but they're like, nah, we're just going to wait a bit because we feel like it. It doesn't feel like it's a natural progression to WrestleMania. It feels like, well, we want it for Mania, but we got to wait, so we'll just do something else for now. You know what I mean?
I think I was so down on Cody not winning, and they had that month of nothing from Mania to Backlash. But then after that, I was like, this is some of my favorite stuff of the Bloodline story. And right now, we are in the WrestleMania, SummerSlam, story peaked, month of nothing. Roman comes back, hopefully soon, and then the story starts going again.
Sure.
They've done enough recently to make me trust they have something good, because I was very much proven wrong last time. Even though I still think Cody should have won.
Cody absolutely should have won, because they could have done the same story, but without the belt, it would have been fine.
And finally, for now, Golden Knight says, "Hey, Ollie and Pete, Cena's Lance Catamaran persona was actually based on a combination of Memphis Wrestling's Lance Russell and the NWA WCW's Gordon Soley. Love the show, boys. Keep up the great work." Thank you, Golden Knight.
Thank you very much for correcting us.
And that's all we've got time for today. Thank you, everybody, for getting in your... I nearly said Omega Chats, Ultra Chats.
I don't think we have a poll.
No poll, but I would give this a 72%.
Sure. I give mine a high 3 out of 5.
Yeah. That's actually pretty simple.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
But yeah, thank you very much for joining us here today. Please go and check out Pete's Payback review on the WrestleTalk News channel. I'll have all the CM Punk coverage going up there as well shortly. And make sure to subscribe to the WrestleTalk Podcast channel, because we're back with All Out tonight.
Yeah.
Tempest and Dan Layden will be reviewing that show with Dan's Jam That Championship on the line. And me and Luke will be back tomorrow to review All Out.
Yeah.
But until then. Until forever. Until together. I've been Oli Davis. This has been Pete Back.
Pay Pete. Book me on Cameo.
Jam That Jam.
Jam.